Okay, we're back again, and today's video is going to be pretty short. These videos are basically just a I'm starting to make them more of a tutorial of how to work on your bike. You don't have to do the exact same process, but I will walk you through the entire process of the video of what's being done on the bike. And we actually made it to episode 8. I think there's only 9 Star Wars movies, well, before, you know, Walt Disney bought them. But yeah, episode 8. And just 2 of the notes that I wanted to say here is when you take the airbox lid off, there are these little metal washers. Make sure you set them aside. For the rubber mounts on the side of the bike, you need those to go back down in the rubber, so don't lose those. And then on the top of the tank where the rubber grommets are, you have 2 rubber grommets with your bolt holes in there. You've got 2 metal type inserts, and don't lose those, because if you lift the top of the tank up after you get the rear of it disconnected, they will fall out and they could fall down into the airbox and toward the spark plugs and the ignition coils. Then you have all kinds of other problems. And then the other thing, when I did this video, when I lifted the tank, I used a crowbar to actually mount it up. This bike, they were super highly produced by Honda. You know, usually, like I've said before, I work on like Italian bikes where Ducati usually has a stand for the tank, or when they go completely vertical, there's some type of strapping system. Same with the Aprilias that I have, they come with a brace for the tank so you can access all that, where this Honda does not. So you can either lift the tank up and brace it, or I haven't got into this video on the spark plugs or the change in, I'm not sure what else I changed on the top end of it. But if you're gonna want to move the tank completely out of the way, take the tank and move it toward the shifter side of the bike. This bike is a 2001, and I don't believe the hoses have ever been changed, so I actually just lifted the bike because of the corrosion and the hardness of the gas lines and whatnot. If you move it to the brake side, there's not as much hose off of that gas tank, and it'll kink the hose up. So you want to just move it to the left. There's plenty of leeway for you to actually do that. But I just braced it up and took a crowbar and mounted it. It's not a big deal. Plus the thing didn't have hardly any gas in it. But yeah, just make sure you lift the tank or move it to the left shifter side. And then on a personal note, I mean, last week I told you I was having some electrical problems with my battery. So yeah, that's fun. It's really cold here, and if you notice, you know, cars don't work in cold weather. They don't like it, and it's completely shot my battery. So you know, it's just miraculous what you have to do when you're in a pinch, you know, like getting a jump and whatnot. So yeah, you know, I'll just get into that jumper cable stuff here. You know, have you ever noticed, like when it gets real cold outside, that you treat your car, you know, you talk to your car, oh, hey, I'm going inside, I hope you start tomorrow. So then you go inside, go to bed, and you wake up and you open the door and you're like, oh my God. You know, you just know when you open the door that car ain't gonna start. So you walk outside. Well, first you know, you don't go out there in your underwear like I usually do. Then you go out there, and as soon as you open the car door and sit in there, it is just so freezing cold, and you put the key in there, and you never start it all the way. You start it to the one to get the dash light up, and you click in there, beep beep, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. You go to start it, and you just know. You start thinking back on when you were raised and you drove a carbureted car. Your dad always teaches you that, you know, and he's, you know, you just pump it 2 times and then halfway down. Don't pump it 3. You know, so you go through that process and pump it again. You're like, please start, and it just. That's another noise. That's another noise that you hear. You've had this car for 5 years. You're starting to nickel and dime you because they don't build cars like they used to. It's so cold out, you know, that people start calling you. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, Michael, what are you doing? Oh, our car's dead. You know, you've known these people 30 years. You don't want to help me jump my car? You're laughing. You go, what are you, a millionaire? You want to start talking about people not talking to people? Go to Walmart. Nobody talks to nobody when they shop at Walmart. They just push their carts, and they're there to shop. You know what I mean? But shit, you go outside and need a pair of jump cables, you can talk to anybody. Hey. I mean, you'll talk to anybody. Hey. Got any jumper cables? Well, he just looked at you. Jumper cables? What the hell are you talking about? Jumper cables? Got any jumper cables? Like, he's like, oh shit. Take the kids. You ever had a jumper car with the end missing? It's always the positive side too. And when they show it to you, people are proud of their jumper cables. Got any jumper cables? Yeah, I got some jumper cables. You know, they get them out. Take a look at these things. Look at the teeth on these things. Take these things hunting with me. And you're like, oh Jesus Christ, there's an end missing on there. Old lady. It's usually an old lady that always wants to help you, you know, because they want to help. They don't move real fast, and then they always walk in front of you too, so they slow you down. But anyway, so you're on the car, and you know, you tell her, you know, I'll hook your car up and I'll hook my car up, and then, you know, you hook her side. I remember you got that end. You got that end with no cloth, so you're just, you know, hitting the positive side, and it sparks and everything. And you know she's just in her car and sitting there. Oh, should I start it? Should I start it? Should I start? Like, you drive a Japanese car with a plastic bumper, so you don't want to stay grounded to the ground. So you're like hanging on the top of the car like this with the end of the cable with no claw on it, so it's sparking. You're trying to get a good connection, and you're just thinking, Jesus Christ, lady! You know, sometimes batteries just blow up, you know, but you don't want to say anything because she's 300 years old and you're happy she's helping you. Story is, if your battery's, you know, getting shot like mine was, you know, just go spend the money and get a battery. You don't have to go through these things, you know. So anyway, we're going to get into the air filter.
Kills me not to know. It starts.